So, I have another story time for you guys. And this is the time that I invoked Azazel for a specific spell to cause destruction on some of my enemies. It's pretty funny. And the way it starts out is, you know, I get into this altercation with this guy, and I end up um, just thinking, I really just want to send some shit to him. So I decided that I was going to go through with doing it. So I go and I'm buying all the supplies and everything. I'm getting everything, and I'm trying to decide who would best fit what I am trying to accomplish when it comes down to sending this energy to this specific person. I'm already really calm. It's really funny because the entire time that I was going to get the supplies, I'm getting everything, I'm very calm. It's as if nothing is bothering me. But that's the best way that you're supposed to go about things when you're going to invoke that kind of energy, because then you can disassociate from it and actually harness the ability to control it. And this is exactly what I did. So I get my setup, I get my candles and everything, and I decide, okay, I'm gonna call Azazel. So I call onto them, and I end up getting I ended up getting dragon's blood incense, and I got dragon's blood oil. So I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna put a drink here, some water. That's what I used. Okay, at that time, I lit it up. I put my candle up. I had a black candle, a blue destruction candle, and some other candles that were very similar energy. So upon doing so, I get started with this spell, but I start to try and bring him forward, and as I call to him, I realize I'm opening the sigil. So I open my sigil, and I don't really connect or hear from him at first until I go into the bathroom. And when I go in the bathroom, I realize I'm watching the sigil open within my third eye. So as it's opening, I'm watching him climb out of this hole, and I see him as being in this dark cloak. It was just all black, and I see blue skin and green eyes, and I kind of am just dumbfounded because I'm in the bathroom. So I kind of was like, okay, I really want some privacy, but I guess you just really don't get that when you're doing things like this. So this was my first time actually interacting with him. So when I actually saw him and I was face to face, I started to, ask him certain questions. But the first thing that he started to do was kind of rewind time. Time started rewinding, and I was going back into some old memories that I hadn't quite really worked on as of yet. And then what he started doing was taking off black pieces of himself and sending them into those timelines. I started feeling myself getting grabbed by these specific emotions, and these emotions were starting to come forward, thus manifesting kind of in front of me. So I'm watching them as if I'm watching a video. And then what I start to tell him is, this is what I called you for, and this is what I would like for you to do. This is the result that I want. I began by thanking him and letting him know that that I feel like he would be the best fit for what I'm trying to accomplish. At that moment in time, his voice is very raspy. This is how I heard him. He had a very raspy voice, and it sounds kind of strange, but that's how I heard him. And as I'm talking to him, I come back into the room, I sit down, and I feel all of this just instantaneous rage, and I'm just pushing all of it into my altar, into my candles, and I just feel so it feels like I'm just being rocked by this energy of like a lion. It just felt like there was energy of a fierce, very, very dominant predator. And I'm just pushing everything into it. I could see everything that could possibly potentially be happening to my enemies, and then these things start. So the next day, I actually was around one of the individuals that I was actually around one of the individuals that I was sending this energy to and trying to get solidified. So once I approached this person, these interesting sounds started to kind of manifest from the sides of myself, but also from the other sides of the place that we were standing. And as this happened in my head, I'm thinking this is actually pretty cool because there's actual results. There were also plates that were falling off um, of the top of the shelf in the room where we were at. The plates started falling, and they kind of started falling when I would pass by. There was also a lot of things that were dropped. There was clumsiness that was being caused, and a lot of destructive behavior, which to my advantage, I felt, okay, this is actually confirmation as to what exactly I cast. So I realized at that moment this was a very powerful, um, interaction and kind of spell that I was casting. And it did last. It lasted for about a week, but then I actually stopped, and I realized that I should have kept going, but I didn't because I just wanted to see what exactly it would cause. I had three targets. I wasn't in communication with the other two, but the first one I actually was able to um, observe and see exactly what was going on. It actually did work, but it was just an experiment. That's my experience with Azazel. There was a lot of there's a lot of thought that went into that, and I was very impressed. And I definitely did thank him, and I just watched to see exactly what else would happen. Started hearing disembodied voices around this person as well that I casted on, and it pretty much just had that person kind of freaking out about the whole situation, which was pretty cool to me. Until next time, guys.